Da, 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 da. Dying! So in our last video, we got our horse to chase us about the place, to stop chasing us when we got away from it, and for it to randomly move when it's kind of like got bored of chasing us. Now you might have noticed I've actually made the text a little bit smaller. I've got lives 8 there. Now that's just a placeholder just to show you what it looked like on the screen. And the plan is in this video is but when the horse comes in contact with us, as he is there, our lives will drop down by 1. We will bump back. We will go opaque, so that won't be happening what we've just seen there. And there will be a sound playing to say that, oh, I've been hurt. And eventually, when we get to live 0, it's going to take us to our game over screen, just like it does when the timer gets to 0. So a couple of things before we get started. On your player, can you make sure that your box collider or whatever collider you decided to use, you've ticked this trigger? On our enemy, which we're going to be kind of like getting to hurt us, we need to make sure that there is a tag called enemy. So you might have to go and add one yourself. And one thing I've also done, I've actually added a sound effect. I've got this cuckoo sound effect, which I will call upon in terms of when I get hit, that type of thing. But you've done the sound video before, so I'm not going to go through how to do that. But what we are going to do on our player, just going to minimize that down. We're going to add a component. We're going to add a new script called kill player, and we're going to add it there. We're going to open it up in Unity, and we are going to bring across this code here. So it's not masses of writing this time, but just to explain what it does actually do. The idea is we're going to be using text, we're going to be using scene management, because obviously when our lives get down to 1 and we get hit one more time, we're going to go to the game over scene. That's when we come in contact with something with the tag enemy. We're setting the lives to 3. We're actually saying what our text box is, which we're going to have the lives counter in. And this rigid body bit is just to make sure that when we do get bumped and our lives reduce then by 1, and it keeps updating the text box, but the player bumps away from the enemy. Otherwise, we're just going to have like our lives go 3 to 1 0 really quickly because it comes in contact with us and we don't get kicked away from it. That's what that line does there, and you'll see that in a moment now. So I'm going to save that. I'm going to head back onto Unity, and I'm going to make sure my player is selected. And over on the right hand side, I've basically got to say what text box I want. So where it says lives, where the 8 is, then that's my lives count. That's going to go there. And I will need to drag across my player into my player. It's a bit bonkers, I know, to indicate when I get bumped, this is what's going to get shoved across by whatever amount of pixels. So if I press play, and our lives should appear as 3 on the screen over on the right hand side. Yep. And our enemy, when he comes chasing after us and bumps into me, my lives went down by 1. I got sent up the screen, and now if I get hit one more time, it'll take me to my game over screen. So that worked then. But there's a couple of things I want to tidy up on there. I want to add a sound effect, so it's quite an easy one to do. So I'm just going to quickly type this in as I'm kind of talking to you. And because I'm Russian, I'm probably going to make a mistake. So I'm referring to it as hurt, and we're basically saying when we are hit, we want hurt to play. And this time then when I go back and I press play, we should have little sound effect playing every time we get bumped by the enemy. But there are a couple of issues in terms of what's happening when we do get bumped. So I'm waiting for him to come after us. Here he comes. So he bumps into me. Oh, right. I didn't drag it across, did I? My bad. So on Clink, where it says none, I just got to drag across. I always do this. Hurt across into there. And then I want to point out what the problems are. So it should still take my lives down. It should send me flying up the screen. And this time it makes a sound effect every time I do get hit. But the thing is, it looks a bit weird when I'm getting chucked up the screen. So that's one thing I want to fix. And I also want to kind of like have a little acknowledgement other than the sound to show that I'm damaged or I'm hurt. So I'm going to make him kind of go a bit opaque. So a couple of things we're going to fix then. Let me jump back onto here and we look at what the next thing was. So I did the add in sound, make the player go to opaque. So I'm just going to highlight all this. In fact, I don't need to highlight all that. I'm just going to add a couple of lines on here, which you can type out really quickly yourself. So that's got to go at the top. And the reason why that is there is because we're using like a timer to say, when I get hit, I want to go 50% opaque. So that's 50% see-through basically. Why can't I do that? I'm going to do like this actually. For like 1 second or something like that. And that's what basically this bit of code is here. So I'm going to add that onto the bottom. And I think it needs to go in that area there. Yeah, that's right. And I'm going to pop it there. And this fade temporarily thing, I do need to call it from my Word document, and that's basically that line there. So that's going to go after our bit here. So that will fix one thing. I say fix, it's just like a nice little bit then. So the idea will be for half a second, I will go half opaque and then I'll go back to my normal color. So let's see what that does just to make sure that works. Doesn't like sprite renderer, does not exist in the current context. Oh, I need to put something up here as well. My bad. Let me come back onto here and I can see the line actually there. So I'm going to take that and highlight this before I forget it again. And I'm going to pop that in there. And this time when it runs, every time I get hit, I should kind of fade out for half a second to say I'm hurt. So I've got a visual representation I'm hurt. I've also got the noise as well saying I've been damaged. So there you go, it goes a little bit opaque. Is it still opaque? I think it is actually, isn't it? No, it's not. Was that working then? Let me check that again. So that's 100% opacity. No, that didn't work, did it? Let's go and check what's going on. My bad. I had that as private sprite renderer. It's got to be public, and the idea is then when you come back on here, you'll have sprite renderer there, and you just grab and grab and drop your player into that. So basically, what should happen is now then, when the horse or the enemy bumps into me, I will get chucked up there and I go opaque for half a second. Now, one thing you might have noticed is the horse actually stops chasing after me, sorry, when it bumps into me. So on the code I had for that, which was my enemy pursuit, so this is something in a previous video I used AI for. I basically asked AI to help me out again, and it basically said, have these extra bits in here. So basically when you bump into something which is called, it's not that bit at all actually, it's this bit down here, pause after delay, move randomly. Oh, here it is. When I come in contact with the player, it runs this little bit of code to kind of pause for 2 seconds just to give me a chance to recover and kind of run about the place. Now, one of the other things I'm going to use AI to help me with as well, I'm actually going to be looking at this is facing left bit because our enemy, our horse, kind of turns left and right to chase after us, or it appears to. So when it bumps into me, instead of me kind of being chucked a number of pixels up the screen, if it's facing me like it is there, I want it to bump me to the left by, I don't know, 10,000 pixels, whatever it is. It's not pixels, it's whatever reference number it is. And if it's facing to the right when it bumps into me, it knocks me in that direction. So little bit of code edit, and I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. I'm literally going to be replacing this line of code with this if statement. It basically says if we're facing left, it's going to knock us to the right, knock us to the left. And on my enemy pursuit, I just made sure that it was public static bool. So this might help you, it might not help you. But like I said, if you're using AI to kind of edit your code, that's perfect. So today, everything up to this point, I've actually done from my own kind of knowledge, so I understand what's going on. But those bits which I kind of want to work, which I'm thinking, how do I actually get that done? That's where AI is perfect. So this time, when the horse attacks me from that way, he knocks me back that way, which is great. And then I kind of get a chance to recover. And then when he attacks me from this side, he knocks me that way as well. Now, there are a couple of other issues because I know if he attacks me. Oh, my box collider didn't work very well there, did it? So, oh, right. So I might need to change my code so it does recognize when I'm actually bumping into something on here then. So I might have to double check some of the settings on here. But anyway, that's my problem to sort out. And you can use AI to help you with the coding if there is any coding and just for general advice on how to fix something like that. Right, next video. I think we're probably going to do about how we win the game, how we collect all the eggs. Because I'm going to make sure we collect 20 to go on to the next bit, and then we'll round it off with how do we get our game exported to be published on Steam, and you can make your millions.